All right. If we're not seeing anybody else in the waiting room, so we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Alvaro Gabaldon. I am one of the planners that is working on the Valrico Community Plan. I'm joined here today with my colleagues, Jay Collins, who is another planner working on this community plan, and Jillian Massey, who is a planner with our CPPR team and has some information about a plan amendment that is happening within the proximity of the Valrico community. But first, I'm going to hand it off to Bryn, who is our community engagement coordinator and has some details to share with you all.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining this public meeting. As Alvaro said, my name is Bryn Dauphiné. I am with the Planning Commission, here to let you know that this meeting is being recorded. And if you have questions during the presentation, go ahead and drop them in a chat, and we will do our best to address those as we can. With all that, I will turn it back over to Alvaro.
All right, thanks, Bryn. So many of you may have heard or have attended a previous meeting of ours, but Valrico is getting a community plan. And the Planning Commission, the Hillsborough County Planning Commission, has embarked on this process that will take about a year and a half, where we will be reaching out to the community and hosting meetings to collect feedback and walking through this process with you all, checking in and providing materials for you to review and to engage with as we create this plan. So I've today specifically we'll be doing an activity which you can participate by typing answers in the chat box. I've also put a website link in the chat that you can download a worksheet that has more of these questions, and you can feel free to email those answers to me if you decide to download and fill out the more extensive worksheet. So with that being said, I will go ahead and get going with this presentation. So up first, I mentioned this before, there is a piece of land to the east of the Valrico community boundary that a lot of people have been interested in because it is well, it's rather large, but it's also land that is designated to be an energy and industrial park. So we just wanted to provide some information about what that process was like and the happenings of that piece of land. So I think Jay actually has some more information about this if you'd like to present this slide.
Sure. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Jay Collins with the Planning Commission staff. So basically, what we want to do is we want to make sure that folks who are working with us in Valrico for the community plan are also aware of some of the things that may impact the community plan. So when we do either create a community plan or we update a community plan, if there is a privately initiated amendment to the comprehensive plan, whether it is within the area that we are studying or adjacent to the area that we are studying for that community plan, we want to make sure that we notify those folks that are working with us on the community plan. So again, this is a text amendment. There is not a timeline that has yet been established, but the applicant must provide additional information. The applicant will host a community meeting and that there will be notice to the community. So for those of you who have provided an email for Valrico that you are receiving updates for the Valrico community plan, you will also receive updates for when there is a community meeting in response to the text amendment for the energy industrial park. And with that, I did just want to make mention to the fact that if you have any questions specific to the amendment for the energy industrial park, please reach out to Melissa or Jillian, who are here on the screen here on the slide with their email or their telephone number. And I believe Jillian is also on the line today, and she'll be able to answer any specific questions that you may have in the chat. And with that, I'll hand this right back over to Mr. Gabaldon. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, so as Jay said, we just wanted to share this information with everybody. Obviously, this is of interest to the community here. but we wanted to clarify that, this piece of land is following that text amendment process. So it provides a direct way for you to provide feedback specifically about this piece of land. The community plan can speak to, what happens in the community in a broad sense, but a plan amendment allows for the public to engage with the specific change that's happening on the specific parcel. So, like Jay said, if you have any specific questions, you can reach out to the folks. Their contact info is on this slide. This PowerPoint will also be on our website, which you can download and have all this information accessible whenever you need it. So as I mentioned, this is a process, and we're still at the very beginning of the process. This is, I would say, our second maybe phase. We had a set of meetings in July where we came out to the community on a Saturday and a Monday evening, and then also had a virtual meeting. And in a similar way, we did an activity. We had a survey open for folks to take and share their perspective on. And we also are collecting comments via like mail-in comment cards. But Commissioner Owen, who is your county representative on the Hillsborough County Commissioner Board, was present and taking questions as well in July. So you can see that we had a little over 120 people show up. We collected over 440 surveys. So all of this feedback feeds into each phase of this project. So everything that we collected from July appears in the survey that we have open right now in September. So we just want to make sure we check in. We make sure that we're listening and that we're hearing you all correctly when we progress to the next stage of talking about the plan. So for example, this is a question from the September survey where we ask folks to either, agree or disagree, basically on a scale, strongly disagree to strongly agree. So the sentence that we have here that people are reacting to, the Valrico community has a small town feel, that is a sentence that we created because we heard that sentiment very frequently in July. We got a lot of feedback from folks using the phrase small town feel. So this is our way of making sure we heard you correctly. And it's actually kind of an interesting response to what we thought we were hearing, because if, for example, everybody agreed with this, there would be a huge orange bar at the bottom. But actually, you can see that a slight majority of people are strongly disagreeing or disagreeing with this statement. And relative to just the rest of the bars, it's pretty flat. So you can see that there isn't like a majority opinion here. And this is telling us that, okay, we need to come back to the community and talk to you all more about what you think Valrico feels like or what its character is like. So you'll see that in the exercise today and in other parts of this survey, we have questions that ask that and allow us to drill down into like what the consensus really is. So it's like a trial and error kind of process, but we're streamlining it with this survey and with all of your feedback. So that's why it's so important to respond to these things. It helps us keep the conversation moving forward. So if you haven't already taken this survey, it closes on October 8th, and it's also available on our website, planhillsborough.org. So another element of this survey is this matrix, which you may have heard of something called SWOT. It is basically just a framework for organizing ideas about like an organization, or in this case, a community. So all of these ideas were taken from the materials we collected in July and then organized into these buckets, which are strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you can see small town feel is here, again, because that's something we heard in July. But as the previous slide showed, maybe that's something that will change moving forward. So again, this is just another example of how your feedback affects the conversations we have moving forward, and ultimately what the community plan itself focuses on. So, maybe small town feel evolves into something different, but whatever it evolves into will be in the plan. So as we move through the phases, That's how we're progressing from, these broad questions like how does it feel in Valrico to something specific like, the Valrico community prioritizes, etc., in order to, reinforce a certain feel that it has. So that's just an example of how these ideas move through this process and into the plan. And this matrix is in the survey for you to react to. So again, strongly disagree, agree, and provide us comments, and we keep the conversation moving forward. I've been alluding to this, but again, your feedback is very important, and it provides the foundation for these parts of the plan. So you can see we collect your feedback via surveys, via the conversations that happen in the meetings, and then the exercises and the maps that also are available at the meetings. So those bits of feedback become what eventually the parts of the plan, which include vision statement. There's a community concept map that is a part of the plan that basically visualizes your vision statement and visualizes some of the priorities that you've pointed out. And then, of course, the plan goals and strategies. So goals are, not unlike maybe like a New Year's resolution or something like, my goal is this. And then these are the strategies I'm taking to accomplish that goal. So again, all of your feedback becomes these parts of the plan. And through this process, that's what we'll keep coming back to you with. It's different pieces for you to react to. So this is a little bit of a rehash from the first meeting, but of course, community plan is kind of a abstract concept. So we just wanted to go over some questions that we frequently receive from folks that we work with. So a lot of people are concerned that a community plan is going to build a specific like structure or a specific business, but that's not true. Basically, a plan can encourage certain things to happen, but it's not like a design for a building or something. The next question we get a lot is like, is this changing my school district? And the answer is no, it's not. Nor is it changing your mailing address, or it's not changing what your land is zoned to be used for, that sort of thing. The boundary of this community plan is for the purposes of this exercise that we're doing, where we talk about the goals and the strategies of an area. It's very much like strategic planning, that sort of thing. If you do that, are involved with that sort of thing in your place of work, it's kind of like we're just planning for the future. We're laying out what we want to accomplish and how we're going to do it. So I kind of let the cat out of the bag, I guess, with what a community plan does just now. But it is a collaborative exercise. So you all are here today. This is a third meeting within our second step, I'll call it, of this project. So at each step we have lots of opportunities for folks to collaborate with each other, and that's what this is all about, is hearing ideas from your neighbors, your own ideas be represented in this plan. And ultimately, this plan provides another channel for you to communicate about what you want to see happen in the place you live. Right now you can email or call your commissioner, and those messages get through to the office, but this is another tool that you have at your disposal to advocate for what you want to see happening in your area. And tangibly, that tool allows you to be a part of the conversation when new development happens in your area. So this plan gets referenced by planners such as Jillian, who work on the team that review applications to change land uses and applications for new development in the area. So this plan gets referenced by the folks that process those applications. Like I said, it's a bit of a rehash, but for anybody who didn't attend in July, a community plan, these have been this process has been used in Hillsborough County for over 20 years now. There's actually 22 other community plans. So Valrico has never had one. And so when we are done with this process, we will have a 23rd community plan in Hillsborough County, and that will be Valrico's. And like I mentioned before, it's basically just another way to represent a future vision of what the community wants in the conversations that happen when new development happens. So this graphic shows you where the community plans live within the greater comprehensive plan of Hillsborough County. So a comprehensive plan is a state mandated document that also looks into the future, right? But it's for the whole county. And so these community plans are like, they take slices of the county and they let us get more detailed about what that slice wants to see. So all of those slices live in the livable communities chapter of the greater county's comprehensive plan. So I hope that's clear, but if you have any questions, please let us know. This is like I said, it's kind of like a comprehensive planning 101 and very condensed because we want to get to the good stuff where we hear from you what you want to see in your community. So like I keep saying, the big part of this project is looking at the future when you answer these questions and when you think about the exercises that we present you with. It's very much a what do you see in 5 years and 10 years kind of mindset to be in. So we did these exercises in person on Saturday, this past Saturday and this past Monday, but we're going to do like a condensed version here if you choose to participate. Basically, we created these like ad libs for common ideas that we were hearing from the community. And so giving you the opportunity to fill in the blanks and provide a little bit more detail about what you see happening in the future. And then we also have a concept map, like I mentioned, that's a part of the plan that visualizes your ideas. So we started doing this visualization for the first time this past Monday and Saturday, where we had folks draw on maps. And so just for the sake of this being a Zoom meeting, please feel free to interact with these things in the chat box, or raise your hand or and we can chat about things. But these materials are also available on our website, and if you choose to download them and mark them up to leave comments, like please feel free to email them to me. My email address is in that first message that's in the chat box right now. But we'll move forward here. So when we look at these ad libs, again, we want to think about Valrico, in 5 to 10 years. What does it look like? That sort of thing. So a first ad lib here is similar, diving into what Valrico feels like. So, literally it says in 2033, Valrico's community character will blank because the community plan has blank. So if you would like to participate, please feel free to emulate this sentence in the chat box and fill in the blanks. And we'll give everybody maybe like a minute or two to think about a response and put it in the chat. In the meantime, if you have any questions, also please feel free to chat those questions and we can address those as well. But we'll do a minute or two here.
And to those out there who are with us, hopefully you can see that there is a chat button that's actually to the bottom of your screen. Should be there next to the participants. All you would do is you just go ahead and click that and it should bring up the chat, and then you can go ahead and type out.
See, we have a question from David asking how to interact with the map. So that's actually in a couple minutes, I'll flip to the map and then we can, again, chat about the map. You can also download it from our website and mark it up if you'd like. Like you could use PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, or, you could print it out and draw all over it and take a picture of it and send it to me. That's okay too. But for the moment, we're just sort of doing this ad lib. So we got one response. So in 2033, Valrico's community character will be more congested because the community plan has failed to address efficient public transit. So is there S Cody, is there a way that you can flip this to be more about like what you would like to see addressed? So I mean, it sounds like you would like efficient public transit to be a priority. So I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but for example, if in 2033 Valrico's community character will be well connected because there is efficient transit. Is that an accurate statement to make? All right, fair enough. Thank you for responding. Okay, so we have another response saying Valrico's community character will maintain a local feel of green spaces, local business, family oriented, and it's because the community plan is accounted for infrastructure improvements for vehicles and pedestrians, and also thinking about multi-unit developments and plan and added parks. So thank you for those comments. Yeah, parks and recreation is something that we're definitely hearing a lot about from the other participants throughout the weekend and then also on the survey. So it's seeming like that's floating to the top of what the community really values. We're also hearing a lot about bicycle and pedestrian improvement. And then, of course, that is in relation to like the congestion and obviously the traffic that is currently here. So and so Josh asked a question about a direct way we can improve safety of roads and reduce traffic to add to the plan. So the community plan, again, is something that informs development. So it can prioritize these issues. It can advocate for the improvements that you're saying. But again, the plan isn't a budget or I don't know, like an infrastructure schedule. But when money gets allocated, when your elected representatives do make those decisions, this plan is there to represent that, yes, Valrico should be prioritized. It should be, should be known that the folks here are want to see this happen in their community. So road safety, congestion reduction via bike ped improvements, that sort of thing, recreational improvements, those all get memorialized, what you're saying about these things in this plan. So the reason why I'm saying sort of a roundabout answer is because there isn't I mean, direct way is kind of, I don't want to say there isn't a direct way because this plan is involved in those conversations, but I do want to clarify that this plan isn't allocating money or staff to go pour concrete on a bike path, but it guides the folks that make decisions about what you all want to see. So we have another question. Yeah.
Alvaro, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think I got it working. So just to comment on that situation. So that's why I'm kind of asking a direct way of how we can add something to the community plan that can help improve traffic. Now, most recently, the commissioner was part of the approval process of that plan amendment that I believe was you guys were talking about recently. And one thing that I noticed on that amendment was allowing transportation from that energy park to transport to the arterial and collector roads. So if anything, it's allowing that approved amendment, my understanding is allowing even more traffic from the energy park. So, I mean, the last couple of meetings, one consistent thing is talked about is traffic and the danger of traffic. I think the community needs a more direct way of addressing a traffic situation, especially considering that the energy park is now allowed to travel during more roads, causing more dangers. So what is a more of a direct way? So is there a certain verbiage we can recommend to the community plan that can be added? Because clearly there was something changed through the comprehensive plan, which kind of reflects that it can be a very powerful tool to be used to help with traffic in the Valrico community.
So,
Joshua, you make some really good points, but one of them we do need to remember is that the Energy Industrial Park is a current text amendment. So as you mentioned, additional traffic or what roads it can access, that has not been determined because it's still an amendment right now. So the Board of County Commissioners has not held public hearings, nor do we have dates for those public hearings. But that is part of the process that we're going through here, is to make sure that folks who are vested in the Valrico Community Plan have an opportunity to speak on the Energy Industrial Park. But I did just want to make a clarification there that there has not been a decision on anything for the Energy Industrial Park as of yet. Jillian, you might also be able to speak a little bit to that.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, like he said, at this point, there haven't been any hearings scheduled. As of right now, the Energy Industrial Park is an already adopted future land use category. The applicant is seeking to change some of the language that is currently in that category. However, at this point, it hasn't even been reviewed because the applicant has to submit supplemental materials required by the board. They have to hold 2 community meetings, and there's a number of other things that need to happen before public hearings even are scheduled. So at this point, there are no decisions made on any potential changes to that category, but it is an existing future land use category.
So Josh, I know you attended our meetings in person, and you actually, engaged in our map activity and circled the Energy Industrial Park to include in the community plan, to put that area in the community plan. So that's feedback that is being taken into account. And then, like my colleagues mentioned, I mean, like I'm focused on your language when you say direct way. So again, like the Energy Industrial Park process is a separate process, and you can directly give this feedback to that process. So for example, like you're focusing on the extra traffic that this piece of land may generate. So, in the community plan, addressing that subject would be more broad. It would be something like, the Valrico community, wants to prioritize safe streets for everybody. And it would have some strategies like widen sidewalks, light dark areas. There should be like crosswalks and stuff. So like that's a broad way of increasing safety in Valrico as a whole, and then that would apply to the energy park. But when you look at, like, for example, a map of like a site or something, like you referenced seeing a connection with Dover and increasing traffic on a road, that sort of thing, that feedback is super valuable to the Energy Industrial Park's plan amendment process, because they can dive into those details about those specific roads, that sort of thing. The feedback that we can put into the community plan is kind of like a blanket over the area. So, and then there's also the timing of this, right? Our process is a little longer, and the Energy Industrial Park's separate text amendment process, they're going to have their own meetings, they're going to have hearings, and this feedback won't go through like a community plan process to then get to the decision makers. You can go to those meetings and talk face to face with the decision makers and the applicant, that sort of thing. So that is very direct, and that's why I'm sort of struggling to, like, I guess, when you say direct way, like the community plan, just by its nature, is indirect because it has to cover like a broad area. It can't really like slice into like a specific parcel like that. So that's why I just, want to clarify, yeah, because you have great feedback about this and the community is really interested in this. And it's an opportunity for you all to like go directly give that feedback about this um, plan amendment and this piece of land in the right forums. Because, yeah, just to be upfront, like the Valrico community plan, again, has to cover a broad area. And it is probably going to take a little long, like it would probably dilute uh, the directness of your feedback because of that. But that's not to say that it's not any more powerful than the comprehensive plan or anything like that. It's just in a different spot. It's a different tool, I guess. So
I guess one example as far as like direct way, and it's a little confusing for me too, because in the comprehensive plan, especially when it talks about the the EIP is very specific to the point you actually mentioned specific roads that it will be using, and the distance has to be from the trail tracks. So it talks about State Road 60. That's very specific. So why is it that comprehensive plan, especially the EIP one, is very detailed? I mean, stating State Road 60, I don't know what could be more specific than that. And as far as the amendments, it's talking about other roads as well. So I guess when you say the community plan is broad, it's like, why is it broad? Is it because it's being competitive against the energy park? Because there's been a lot of hesitant and I don't know what the deal is with the energy park. The reality is it's not being transparent overall.
Joshua, the energy industrial park has just begun its process. So, we don't know everything that's going on with it because we haven't received all of the material for it yet. So again, this is a long process. Why is the comp plan, as you say, detailed on the energy industrial park? That was a decision by the Board of County Commissioners to have it that detailed, because this is the only piece of property in the entirety of unincorporated Hillsborough County that has that land use, right? There are industrial land uses all over unincorporated Hillsborough County. Primarily, you find them associated with the port, but there is not an energy industrial plan category in the port. This is the only one that is located just to the east of Valrico. So it does have all of that specific language tied to it because the Board of County Commissioners did not want that to be a industrial piece of property in the sense of the port. It wanted it to be the energy industrial park. So it's a different land use category with a different set of regulations that go along with it. The applicant is asking to change the text that goes along with the comprehensive plan for that piece of property. And that's a separate process for what we have for the Valrico community plan. There are 22 different community plans currently within unincorporated Hillsborough County, and they stretch all over. They go all the way down from Apollo Beach in Ruskin, all the way up to Thonotosassa, all the way out to Keystone, Odessa, back down to Town and Country. But there is only one energy industrial park. So there is a set of basic assumptions that we use when we are actually doing community planning, because we want to have the same conversations with the folks of Valrico that we had in Town and Country that have a community plan, Keystone, Odessa, Thonotosassa. Everybody we want to have that same basic conversation with so that there is a level playing field about the community plans. Again, the energy industrial park is its own entity. It's a strange anomaly, if you will, because there's no other one. There aren't 22 different parcels that have the energy industrial park. So it is something specific that we get to work through as we go through the Valrico community plan. We'll have the energy industrial park right outside of it working as two different separate processes. So there will be plenty of time to have that conversation about it. But I want to make sure that you know that, Joshua, when you have the conversation with us, it's not getting back to the energy industrial park, because that process is something that you need to have with Jillian and Melissa and with the Board of County Commissioners and with the actual folks that are going to be running that amendment. So we just want to make sure that everybody sees what we're looking for, what we're going for here with the community plan, and we don't get too much of a cross communication between the two. Joshua, you've got some really good comments for the energy industrial park. I just want to make sure that you can direct them towards the right people for that. So Jillian, it might be that perhaps a separate email to Joshua to go over with what you have so far on the energy industrial park, so that he can go ahead and voice some of these issues to you so that they can get into the record, so that those can go through to the applicant, might be the best way to do this. And I want to make sure that we have time for some of the other material that's coming through on the meeting chat, and also for Alvaro to go ahead and finish the presentation that we have here.
So and Jay, and just if I could add to your point, like you said, at this point, we haven't received any materials to review. However, the applicant is required to host 2 community meetings in which everybody that we have email addresses for that have participated in these meetings will be notified of the meetings that the applicant is holding regarding the energy industrial park. So at this point, I'm only able to answer limited number of questions because there's only so much information we have. Seems like a lot of the questions would be best directed towards the applicant, and I would encourage you to, attend those community meetings that they host because it's specific to their proposal. So I would just, keep an eye out for, invitations to those meetings, which you all will be informed of because your emails are a part of this engagement process.
All right, thanks everybody for the good discussion around this. Yeah, as Jillian and Jay mentioned, for those of you who are interested in keeping tabs on this, again, you can reach out to Jillian, and then your emails are added to the notification list for these updates on the park, the industrial park that we're mentioning. So David, I see your question. We can, wrap that up into an email that Jillian can send out, and then obviously you're signed up for updates as well about the process, but the process is not outlined yet, but we'll move forward. So we had some other comments. Obviously, pedestrian safety, we started talking about bicycle safety and of course traffic and congestion. So again, we are hearing a lot of this repeated, right? So through the weekend to this meeting right now. So this is going to float to the top of those responses. And eventually, this gets reflected in those goals that we talked about the plan laying out. So like I said, when this plan is referenced by those decision makers, by those folks that do allocate money and make decisions about these things, they can see that, oh, like Valrico, their number one priority is, for example, it could be pedestrian safety, bicycle safety, that sort of thing. So I appreciate everybody's ideas in the chat about the community character. It does sound like, maintaining a local feel, local business, family oriented stuff. A part of that's being able to get to those things, right? Safely, feeling safe when you walk around Valrico to get to the local feel. So we're hearing you, and we're going to, take those responses and massage them a little more, and then present you all like another idea, and then we'll like keep doing this until like basically the picture that we're painting together is starting to like become recognizable, I guess. So something that we're hearing a lot is like green space. So in this next segment, we would like people to describe what that green space looks like. So something, some folks are talking a lot about parks. Some folks have talked about canopy roads. So would really love to hear how you all think about green space in Valrico in the future. In 2033, I would describe green space as et cetera, because the community plan has et cetera, et cetera. So it's another topic that we hear a lot about, and so we would love just to have a little bit more of your insight on. So we'll just give it a minute or two on green space. All right, we're not seeing any responses, so I think, oh, thank you, sorry, jumping the gun. Um, so we have accommodating to bicycles, walkers, hikers, and families. And then we're also seeing setting aside parcels to maintain tree cover, vegetation for rec areas. So again, we're seeing that tree vegetation being called out a lot, right of way that is large enough to maintain canopy roads and building requirements for trees. So yeah, I mean, you all are not alone in pointing this out. It's something that I think when you drive through, when you leave Brandon and you drive into Valrico, you do see that. You do see the canopy road. So I think it's something that you're not alone. Certainly, like I'm not alone in observing this. So, I think the plan will absolutely address that in some way. In addition to parks, David mentions I would include agricultural areas, most of which, since I have lived here, have been rezoned and become housing. So yeah, I think the agricultural areas add to that openness, that greenness that we're all experiencing here. So that is taken, well taken. I think we're starting to crystallize around what we're seeing, right? This painting that we're uh, uh, drawing. Valrico is this sort of like green vegetated place, and it should be safe to walk around it, right, and enjoy. So hopefully we're trending in the right direction with how I'm summarizing your comments. And we can accomplish this. Cody mentions by preserving existing spaces, expanding the space, and renovating land for parks. So again, we're hearing that park space um, thing a lot. A lot of folks have mentioned that it's also that there's I think like two parks within our boundary that we've shown you all, and that even those two parks are a little like under programmed or under improved. Um, uh, so so those could even be improved upon in addition to adding or looking for opportunities for new parks. So I appreciate you all brainstorming on green space with us. So I'll go ahead because there was interest in looking at a map. So this is the map that we had printed out for the folks that came in person on Saturday and on Monday. I've just kind of added an example of how the annotations we received sounded and what they looked like. So you can see, like, we circled an area and we called it a shopping area, or we circled the historic area of Valrico, and maybe we like thought about where a bike path should be, that sort of thing. So uh, the next slide, this slide shows an actual example of what the folks over the weekend told us when they drew on the map. So you can see that this group mentioned how State Road 60, it has the majority of the commercial retail stuff that's in Valrico, and then moving forward, they were very interested in most of the commercial happening along here, and their point being like like north and south of 60 is residential, and there shouldn't really be like um you know a high concentration of commercial in those areas. So there's actually two areas that they sort of outline where they describe that idea. They described connecting Sydney Dover Trails Park area through the energy industrial land to south to like I think that's Durant Road. So we heard about a lot about parks, right? But also like how do we connect them? How do we safely get around to them to enjoy the space that's here? So that was an idea that was represented by this team. I think they also circled some traffic lights, some intersections that they think are particularly problematic. They talked a lot about roundabouts, and then you can kind of see going southwest, there's a like dashed red line. That was their proposal to extend the boundary of the project. So, again, just talking about, as I was saying, what area does the plan address? So, they were just adding that sort of feedback that they think it should address this area because, if included, this is how Valrico is. These are what the boundaries that people consider to be Valrico. So this is some of the feedback and examples of feedback that we got. So I'm going to flip to an empty map, and this map is available on our website again. So I know it may be a little awkward to like look at this map and chat into the box and maybe not draw, but we would love to get your feedback if you have any comments about the map, but especially if you'd like to download the map and draw all over it, that would be great too. We can put that on file with the other maps that we've got. So just reading some of the comments. So reuse vacant building instead of building more. So yeah, that's typically called like infill development. So that's definitely something that could be reflected. We hear a lot about maybe like older like commercial buildings on 60 that are just kind of like empty. So, how could that be better utilized, or how could the plan encourage that to be better utilized along those areas? So, and then let's see here. David's got a comment about a 20-acre property, Dover Woods, but I would like to see these added. Okay. Let's see, Dover Woods neighborhood. Okay, yeah, for sure. We'll make a note of that and take a look. And then, like I mentioned, if you'd like to download a map and sort of like circle or highlight, that'd be super useful as well. And I think moving forward into our next meetings, similar to how we're going to start creating goals and strategies, where we take the comments you're giving us and we massage them into like sentences and then eventually into like a goal or something like that. This map will follow a similar process where we take your ideas and we massage them and we put them in the map and we check in with you at each step of the way. So this is our first sort of like pass at the map, and so it's not going away. And the next time you see it, it will incorporate some of these comments that you are sharing with us. So,
hey, real
right.
quick, I just want to add it because I know it's been talked about before about adding the energy park to the Valrico community plan. And then one thing I attached in the chat is a PDF, and the PDF is from the Hillsborough County, one of the interactive maps. And if you open it up, you'll actually see it actually has a section where it says planned area, and it states Valrico. Mm-hmm. So per Hillsborough County, at least that interactive map, I know there's many maps, it does include Valrico. And I know it's been talked many times to add it or not to add it, but I still believe it should be added. And there's some documentation stating that it is still part of Valrico.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and I just want to clarify that the boundaries that we're showing you are the boundaries of the community plan. It's not like a jurisdictional boundary, right? Like Valrico isn't a city. So this is the Valrico area. We're hammering it out with the community about what they consider to be Valrico. So, your comments are well taken and noted. And then, yeah, I mean, this is the Valrico area. The Energy Industrial Park is in the area. So, Yeah, David, I can make sure to email you, or I have your email from the registration of the meeting, and I can get you these materials, directly via email. So, but Josh, yeah, we hear you, and yeah, again, just uh, I don't want to seem like I'm splitting hairs, but I want to make sure that we're on the same page when we talk about the community plan. So these boundaries, again, they're not like, it's not affecting like your school district, your mailing address, that sort of thing, or like, it's not affecting those processes. This boundary exists for the sake of our conversation and our project. So yeah, that land is in the Valrico area, and then we're talking about adding it to our project, right? The boundaries of our plan. So um, as similar to the
It
folks that
doesn't
are, yeah,
affect districts. I mean, I think the boundaries thing is, I think it's kind of a reason why it keeps being brought up because the importance is there. So, for example, Valrico Community Plan has not existed yet. Now, because of that, it kind of put Valrico a little behind when it came to this energy park situation because the community didn't have a fair chance as this to actually voice of what they actually think about the energy park. Unfortunately, it's been about what, 10, 15 years of this ongoing process. And then now there's actually some form of a little more official documentation, this community plan, that we're trying to actually add it now. Now, it still doesn't make any sense to say that it's two separate things because although it is a different piece of land, it is part of Valrico. It's going to impact Valrico. It's going to impact Valrico in a bad way. Now, most of the county is already aware of this, but the community of Valrico is maybe somewhat aware of it. So adding these communications, these voicing this in the community plan, I think is very important to the overall community, the surrounding community. Because as Jay mentioned earlier, this energy park it was pretty much created specifically for this site. That's an unfair advantage to the surrounding neighborhoods already. Now, at the same time, this has not been a transparent situation from the beginning. So this is like a chance to be as transparent as possible about this upcoming energy park because it's coming. There's only so much we can do as far as this point. But I think awareness is so important. And part of that awareness is adding it to this community plan. And it needs to be noted that, hey, this energy park isn't looking very good. So as far as boundaries, I think it's important to add it because it's going to impact a lot of communities around there.
Joshua, thank you very much for the comment. We hear you loud and clear as you've made that point to us at a couple of other meetings. I just wanted to make sure that we are good on time because we are 5 minutes to 1 o'clock. I don't know if we had any other comments that we wanted to go over. Or Alvaro, again, if you wanted to discuss any of the next steps before we wrap up the meeting.
sure thing. So yeah, I will make sure to send everybody in this meeting these materials. So if you would like to, again, like fill out the full worksheet or draw over a map, make sure to get that to you directly with some more information about our next meetings. But let me click here. Okay, here we go. So the survey is open until October 8th. So if you haven't taken it, please do. And Jay and I are planning on doing office hours where we're basically going to be posting ourselves up at like a library or maybe another community space starting at late October, mid-October to December. And we'll be taking questions. We'll have maps. We'll have these materials available, and we can chat one-on-one and really dive into details if you'd like. So we're going to make ourselves available. We're still planning out those windows of time, but we'll make sure to put that on our website and email that update out to everybody who's signed up for updates. So and then as a part of this next step, like I said, we're taking this step by step, right? Where we get your ideas, we massage them into a sentence or something. We ask for your feedback, then we massage them a little more, and we slowly move the ball forward. So the next part of that is in November, we'll have another survey. So basically, surveys let us save some time because you all can, similar to how you were chatting here, you all can share your ideas. It lets us gather those ideas passively and then like crunch them together and give you all something new to chew on. So that's going to happen in November, this November. So all that being said, our next like phase will be in January or February. And when I say phase, I mean this set of meetings that we typically do, where we do a Saturday, a Monday, and a virtual meeting. So that next set of meetings will be January or February. And in that set of meetings, we hope to have a vision statement for you all to react to. We'll have the next iteration of this concept map with some of these ideas about parks, bicycles, the energy industrial park, etc., for you all to chew on. And then we'll have a preliminary set of goals. So again, a lot of these comments are rising to the top, right? We hear a lot about parks, traffic, safety. So those ideas will be reflected in the goals in January or February. So that's what the next step for the community plan is looking like. Again, my name is Alvaro Gabaldon. That's my contact info. And my teammates are also on this slide. Sophia and Jay was here with us today as well. So you can reach out to any of us about any questions you have, and we can chat in more detail about your ideas and about the community plan. If you have questions just in general about the other community plans or how this works, we can talk more about that. And then, like I said, our website has all of these materials. I will be sending everything out to everybody here directly, but if you, just for future reference, want to stay up to date and take the survey, for example, you can go to the bit.ly link there, or you can just go to planthillsboro.org and search Valrico, and you'll find our project page. So I really appreciate everybody taking the time to be here today on Friday during your lunch hour, sharing some of these ideas about Valrico with us, and really hope to see all of you at another meeting, and hopefully in person, drawing some maps, because that's always fun to share with neighbors and that sort of thing. So thank you, David. I hear you saying that it's easier to participate virtually, so that's why we do this. Appreciate you being here. So I'll wish everybody a good weekend, and I owe you all an email. So again, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you soon.